All right. So just wanted to do a little bit of a call review from a call I had the other day. As far as kind of some backstory and context, he had some familiarity with like copywriting AI services in general. Never saw the results he wanted. You'll see his goals throughout here too, but a big emphasis was challenging commitment. That was basically like the pre-handle or objection I had to overcome throughout discovery, which it didn't come up at the end. Objectionless call. It was pretty short and straightforward call, to be honest. I think calls that usually last like 45 minutes to an hour probably messed up somewhere in the discovery or your objection handling at the end. But I'll stop this through parts as well. Kind of break down like why I asked the questions I did, as well as like based off their answers, what I was specifically looking for. But we can jump into it here.
Hey, what's
Hi,
going on?
Con. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Nice. Where are you calling in from? Where out in the world?
So this is
London.
basically
Not.
pretty self-explanatory. Just a little bit of rapport, where they're calling in from, if they went over the videos, pre-call material. But I'll skip forward to the outcome-based question, which is always the first question, and you want tangible goals from that. You don't want time, financial freedom. You want specifics, so you can use that to build the gap, expand their goals, why they haven't actually got there, and build out the rest of the discovery as well. Let's see.
Your ability to be able to just entice people, to be able to tell.
Yeah, there's
Um,
there's many different ways in order to gain clients, but good to get an understanding as far as where you're at and everything. Now,
yeah,
I don't want anything to get lost in translation from speaking with Mason and everything, but in terms of copywriting the inner circle specifically, what's like the main goal or outcome you're looking for with something like this?
um, to for right now, currently where I am right now, I've apart from just doing courses, I haven't really actually began writing. Haven't done any projects. So I just want to uh, begin being able to improve my copywriting, be able to get clientele,
Yeah.
be able to keep them at the same time.
For sure. And more so personally, is it like you're after the financial side of things to get out of a 9 to 5, or what like personal goals are we trying to achieve?
So the reason I doubled down on this portion is he gave a good answer, but that's more specifically like selling himself on the business model, like trying to get clients, like understanding the basics and fundamentals of the business model. I more so want personally on a deeper level as far as like what he's trying to achieve with the business model itself. So that's why I asked the question, is it like time related, location freedom, making more money, get out of a 9 to 5? So yes, he did sell him on the business model, which is good when you get people like that. However, you always want to double down and ask like, what are you personally trying to achieve as far as like their tangible goals and outcomes as well?
Yeah, so far I do work right now, so I definitely would like to make enough income where I could leave my job,
Hmm.
and then
So got two answers right there: make more money as well as leave my job. Two tangible goals, which I'll double down again here in a sec as well.
after that scale it even more.
Yeah. What is it you do for work now?
So I do. I'm a truck driver.
Okay.
Yeah. I do. Sometimes I do a bit of security work, and I'm a student as well. I study accounting at university.
Okay. What's like the long term goal with accounting?
Oh, accounting. So accounting. I'd like to graduate. So I'm second year now. I've got one more year left.
Okay.
I'd like to graduate.
The reason I asked this question is because he said he wanted to get out of his job, but he's also going to school. So I was going to go down the path of, okay, if your goal is to go fully online as far as business, what's the reasoning behind like even going to school or like getting an accounting degree? So these are the first two parts as far as like any discovery call. You want obviously their tangible goal as well as like their current situation, if they're in school, if they're working part time, full time, and what the long term goal with that is.
Then maybe go into my career. But if I make money from copywriting, that I won't need to. But it's
Yeah.
always good to have that extra skill.
For sure. So it sounds like the long term goal is obviously get out of truck driving, get out of the nine to
Yeah,
five, and go fully online as far as copywriting.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't want to assume anything, as
yeah.
most people obviously get the degree, go down the 9 to 5. But what's like the main motivation or reasoning for yourself as far as like wanting to step away from that and go fully online as far as business?
So this question I always ask after the long-term goal, because when you think about it, most people like go to school, like get the traditional 9 to 5, do that for 30, 40 years, invest into the 401k. So that's the route 99% of people go down. But once you ask this question, like what's your deeper desire or motivation as far as like getting out of that, you're gonna bring more goals, future pacing themselves, as well as more pain as far as like, oh, I don't have the freedom. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to get to the 10, 20K months. So you're going to double down as far as their future pace, or sometimes they go negative as far as like their current situation as to why they want to get out. So you're basically just able to leverage that and get more in depth, deep level answers that are going to set you up for the rest of the call as well.
The money, obviously, but it's more so copywriting is like it's the future. I think it can't be it can't be replaced as easily. I think businesses will always need people that will be able to write.
Yeah.
You know, advertise for businesses. So while a 9 to 5 is good, the goal is never to work for someone forever. There has to be a point where you want freedom.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
you
and
say
also-
when you say freedom as well, in like what sense?
So good on that part, like doubling down, because freedom can mean a shit ton of things to everybody. So I specifically want to know what he envisions or sees freedom as. Now, even a mistake on my end, I could have probably doubled down on this as well, as far as like when he mentioned the goal as far as kind of the different like timeline as far as like wanting to get out like a 9 to 5's good. I could have doubled down and challenged him like why not just go down that route as well, and he could have opened up like given me better answers there. So I could have tweaked that and asked that question specifically too, but I'm gonna get my answer here as well.
Freedom, whereas I don't need to work a job.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need to work a job.
And with like the truck driving stuff you do now, how long have you wanted to step away from that? Or we've known the 9 to 5, that route's not going to give us like the freedom, both time and financially, that we want.
Yeah. So
This is the third part of any discovery. You need the time gap. And as long as you get like a 1 to 2 year plus time gap, you can run with that. Now, if somebody gives you a few weeks or a few months, you want to expand and double down on that, because a lot of these high ticket programs do have a good investment to them. So a small change isn't going to prompt people to make that decision and commitment. But if you're able to expand the gap and widen that as far as their problems, how long they've wanted to get where they want to go, it's going to make your job a lot easier as far as closing that call too.
I've been wanting. I've been working on because I'm 24 now. I've been working on and off for 6 years, and it's like you're just living paycheck to paycheck. The money, like it's never enough. So I took my own initiative. I bought a course from Udemy. I began taking notes, and then I was going through YouTube. And I found Cardinal Mason's channel. So just recently, I'm in a better financial situation.
Mhm.
So I said to
How-
myself,
Yeah. Been working there 6 years. How long have you wanted to like step away from that?
So he didn't really answer my question there. So I doubled down, and you need a time gap. You can ask this 3, 4, 5 times, of course, in different ways, but you need to get a specific answer on this. So this is why I doubled down in this case.
oh, a long time. I've had this entrepreneurial mindset since I was maybe 20, but it's just I lack the consistency. But I feel like if I have some guidance,
Mhm.
and I think now mentally I've matured as I've grown older. I've matured.
Yeah.
I can concentrate more. I'm more resilient. I can I can weather the storm. I think that if I stick to something,
Yeah.
I won't be able to see the results straight away. But just because I don't see it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
I won't eventually
Right.
see it.
It's the same thing as far as the gym, right?
So with this, he was giving me answers as far as like what I needed to handle. Obviously, it was like accountability, it was commitment, those sides. So I went right into it. I could have doubled down again as far as the time gap. He mentioned a long time. Now I kind of built it off as far as him doing trucking 6 years and him wanting to stay away from that for a while. So I just went right into the pre-handle as far as accountability and commitment. I could have doubled down again though, as far as like, oh, a while. What's that? Is that like a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or how do you feel? And then gone right into commitment, accountability too.
If you go to the
Yeah.
gym every single day for 12 months straight, you work out, you
Yeah.
eat healthy, you exercise,
Yeah.
it's impossible not to get more fit, right? Are you probably
Exactly.
going to have the physique you want in month 1, month 2? Probably not,
No,
right? But you know, over a
exactly.
long enough period of time, it's basically
Yeah,
impossible to fail. And, you know,
exactly.
with yourself, kind of like looking ourselves in the mirror.
So he used a similar sense as far as like, I probably won't see results right away. So I went right to the gym, made it logical, made it contextualized, just so he gets that understanding is it's going to take time, effort, and work to get the results you want. But if you stay consistent, stay disciplined, it's impossible to fail, just like the gym.
Throughout the last 5, 6 years, like, what do
Yeah.
you feel held ourselves back as far as holding ourselves accountable, like making that commitment and being to that
Yeah.
standard?
I think.
Here, I'm just challenging his accountability, like challenging that level of commitment and responsibility to getting where he wants to go. Yes, he said, I haven't been accountable and I haven't made that full commitment. Why?
Oh, what makes me wanna?
Or more so, like, what's held us back in the past?
Oh, what held us back in the past? I think people just want things to happen overnight,
Hmm.
quickly. But there's no such thing. You just have to every single day just get at it and just work and work and work.
Yeah,
That's all you can do.
right.
Everyone's different. You know, everyone's got their own journey. So it's just about being consistent and carrying on daily.
Right. Because if we, allow that lack of accountability, that lack of commitment, and we never actually push past that and show up for the version of ourselves we want, like, what do you
Exactly.
expect to ultimately ever change?
Important part when pre-handling, you need to shut the door. So the whole premise of pre-handling an objection is making sure they understand their cost of inaction is never going to get them to their goals, and it's ultimately more riskier to do nothing than actually take that step and make that full-on commitment. So as you can see, I'm going to consequence them here for the next 2 or 3 questions and then go right into the why now, as far as why now is the time where we actually put an end to that and step into the version of the shoes of ourselves who we want to become.
And yeah, you don't want to die with any regrets. You don't want to, if you have the mind, you have the health, you have the capability to make a change, then you should strive.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't take that first step.
Right. Because,
Yeah,
if we let the last 3, 4, 5 years look like the
yeah.
next 3, 4, 5 years into the future, like, where do you feel like that would actually leave us?
Running around in circles.
Yeah. And what would that
So
mean for you specifically?
Double down, running around in circles. I can probably assume what it means, but you need to ask the right question so he can actually explain to himself and make him say out loud, that's not going to get me to my goals. I'm going to be in the exact same, if not a worse position, 3, 4, 5 years down the line.
it would mean that still be stuck doing 9 to 5s. I might get better paying jobs, but
Yeah. Is that what we want
realistically,
to settle for?
no.
Okay.
I think in
So,
life you always want to get better and better.
yeah, when speaking with students, there's always like an internal why is to them, like,
Yeah,
finally making that commitment, like stepping into that version of themselves who takes action, makes the commitment themselves. What
yeah,
would you say that is for you? Like, after the last, few years now, what do you feel like actually shifted that has us
yeah,
ready to hold ourselves accountable to get to the
yeah.
time and financial freedom we want?
Uh,
That's like the fifth thing. So every single discovery call, you need their tangible goal and outcome. You need their current situation, like what they're up to now, the time gap, what they have or haven't tried, which is where you're going to pre-handle the objection, as well as the why now, as far as them wanting to actually push past that. Whatever objection you had to pre-handle, make the full-on commitment as far as getting where they want to go. So those are the 5 essentials of every single discovery.
the world has changed. Things are getting more expensive, um, and time 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 keeps going on.
Hmm.
So it's like the time's gonna go on. You might as well just apply yourself to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Because if you just say, if you start today, you give up tomorrow. 1 year's gonna go by. You're gonna look back. Oh, look,
Yeah.
I didn't do
And,
nothing.
and to me,
And I'm about to double down on this because when you get the why now, you want to make sure it's internal. Like, things are getting more expensive, time's going on. Like, you can't control the economy. You're always going to get older, right? That's been the case the last few years, but we haven't yet taken that action or make that full on commitment. So you need to make sure they internalize it as to why they're ready now to make the full on commitment and step into that version themselves who holds themselves accountable and takes responsibility. So this is how I double down here.
be fair, right? We've been getting older the last few
Yeah,
years. The
yeah, yeah,
economy
definitely.
has been getting more expensive. Like, why do you feel now is the time more so internally to actually put an end to that and, like, make the full on commitment we need to? Because we don't have to.
Yeah. That's a good question. Um, I want to prove to myself I can do it.
Mhm.
You know, I learned a lot of times what let me down was telling people my goals and what I'm gonna do before I even achieved it.
Yeah, it's
So
word vomit.
yeah, I just keep my mouth quiet
Mhm.
and just make sure that let the results and the actions speak for
Yeah,
themselves.
because that's
Yeah,
honestly like the most important question, like for the students
yeah,
we do take on.
yeah,
Like at the end of the day, after the last few years, do you feel like you're finally at that point as to where we're ready to draw a line in the sand, like make that full
yeah,
on commitment, hold ourselves
yeah,
accountable, and put in the work we need to get to the
yeah,
time and financial freedom we want? Because that's the most important
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Putting in the work as well.
Yeah.
So I went right for the tie down. Now, as an experienced sales rep and closer, I knew I had him. I knew I was most likely going to buy as long as he had money. If not, I could worry about objection handling at the end because he did seem pretty committed. I held him to a standard as far as taking the accountability responsibility. Now, if somebody has a few objections I need to pre-handle, or I can tell they're a little bit colder of a lead, this is where I would future pace consequence and then get the tie down. But in this case, I knew I had him right where I wanted to as far as like actually making an offer, getting to the sale, as long as it was financially qualified. So that's the reason why I just went to, the tie down before I pitch. However, most times I would future pace consequence, then get the tie down and then pitch. But that's kind of the logic behind why I went right for the tie down in this case.
And I can
A lot.
honestly go for it.
Yeah, Mason did say a lot of people are 90% of people are not serious.
Yeah, that's why we deny about 86% of all people, because it can be
Yeah,
the best program, best training in the world, but like
yeah.
if people don't apply themselves and actually commit to it, what good does it
See?
do?
Yeah,
Nothing.
that's why. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that's kind of a full discovery. Most of my discovery calls are like 8 to 15 minutes, give or take, depending on the prospect. I'll go into the pitch here, which I mean, obviously, it's dependent on the program, so not important, all that important, I should say, to explain. There was no objection at the end, but pretty straightforward. The 5 things you need every single discovery. You have to make sure you shut the door as far as whatever you need to pre-handle objection wise, and then make sure get an internal why now and get a tie down before you pitch. In this case, there was no objection at the end. It was pretty smooth sailing as far as getting the tie down, make sure they feel confident, as well as what about the process specifically makes them feel confident. And then as for the sale, got them in, took care of onboarding, enrollment, everything there. But want to do more of these call reviews because even myself, when I go back and watch my calls, I can pick up on little things that I could have asked differently, I could have improved on, picked up on throughout the call as well. But this is an example as far as like what a 40K a month closing call looks like. As mentioned, going to do more call reviews, more objections, kind of going deeper into the sales process as well. But like, comment, subscribe. Connor_Krinos on all socials, which I'll link below as well. But hopefully you guys took something away from this. And I'll make a new video tomorrow or the next day.